Make a motion to approve the minutes for December 12th.
I got Dan to.
Did you make the motion? Okay.
I would move.
All right, Dan move, I have second.
Any comments? All in favor?
Aye.
It's okay, how about the bills?
The bills, are you going to go through them?
Sure.
Okay. The second item on the bills, Dan and Rob, this will be your first time seeing it, ASCAP. That's the fee we have to pay musicians to play songs here.
Right.
So
Yep.
we have a concert, we don't get in trouble.
Oh, I wish I was, had some
Some of that cash.
Keep working on it.
Okay. As we go down, it was a light month, not because of, there aren't bills, they didn't come because of mail.
Okay.
Did you
And
not get mail this week for a couple days?
for a couple of days, we did not get mail. We got a couple junk pieces. I think Monday, nobody got mail.
Monday or Tuesday, we did.
Yeah. As we go down, Home Depot, $9,333.89. That's the cabinets and countertop for the kitchen.
Okay.
We delivered the 16th of, the cabinets will be delivered the 16th of January. IAPD is our annual dues, Park District dues. And Anna had a reimbursement for antivirus stuff for the computer. Ridgeville Band of Evanston's our $400 contribution. And Sunrise Tree, we lost two medium-sized trees, one in Elks, one in Ridgeville Park, that were diseased. And not very big.
What did they have?
They had ash borer. City marked them, sent us a letter, gotta go.
So Elks and the one right out there.
And right out there, that one that didn't have leaves on it.
What was that disease called again?
What's that?
Emerald
Ash borer.
Little dashboard.
That's it.
I move to accept this bill of $24,340.
Second that.
All in favor?
Aye.
Any cash?
Petty cash, petty cash. As you go down petty cash, 315 is vehicle stickers for the 3 trucks, which you don't get. You
So it's just the wheel tax?
Good deal, I guess, for them. City of Evanston was a hydrant for water for the ice rink. Illinois Association of Park Districts is, I'm going Friday the 24th to the seminar convention. Jennifer Lloyd's a $15 refund, she overpaid for winter camp. Main Street Merchant is Ridgeville's dues to be a part of their association. On another reimbursement, part of that is our holiday lunch. Carol Nimrod was art supplies for her art class in the fall. $86 to me is the rest of that holiday lunch. That was upstairs on the 19th of December. Sam's Club, snacks for winter camp, and Reuben was a valve for the hose.
Move to accept as petty cash at 1172.49. Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Any cash in good? Foundation.
Well, before we leave petty cash,
Okay.
I wrote myself a note. I know we've been doing this every 2 months. Can we extend petty cash to $3,000 for February and March for any expenses we may need related to the kitchen?
I'll need a motion made.
Yeah.
So from,
What's the usual petty cash level?
1,500.
but it's still a 3.
It's at 3 now.
It's at 3,000.
Yeah, this month it was 3, and we didn't come close to spending it because the kitchen got a little delayed. We don't spend it if we don't have to,
So a motion to extend petty cash for 2 more months.
at 3,000.
So
That would be February and March.
Okay. A motion by Dan, a second by.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Okay. Ridgeville Foundation.
Yeah. Well, this is, Rita and I thought that it would be nice just to give a very quick update because we've sort of reached our 3-year mark. So you have the 2011, 2012, and 2013 sort of net P&L. As you can see, we're growing very, very slowly, but steadily. And you know, some of our goals for the next year. We had 2 new board members this year, Martha Gaines and Jeff Herter, and we're going to hopefully be adding a couple more board members this coming year, and kind of deciding where to go. You know, future-wise, whether we're going to do another fundraiser at St. Nick's, whether we're going to do an alternative fundraiser at some other venue. We're just beginning to fundraise to solicit corporate sponsorship for the Shakespeare Festival this summer. And yeah, but I thought it would be good to, if there's any questions and or comments about the foundation in general.
So how many seats are there on the board?
How many seats are there right now? 4.
And, okay, so it sounds like you're full up.
Oh, no, I'm sorry. We haven't capped the, I think, I'd have to look at the bylaws, but I think it's technically up to 12. But
You're trying to increase the size of the board.
yeah, we'd like to be at least 5, and there has to be a minimum of 3. So we're just over the minimum.
Mike, I'm sorry, I missed the board members. I know it's online, but I know Mark is one of them.
Right.
Any other? Okay, Mark.
Rita.
Okay.
And Jeff Herter, I don't know if you've met him. He was at the fundraiser. He is, if you've had Katz cookies at the farmer's market, Andy Katz is his partner. Her partner is Jeff. So, yeah, he's a really nice guy. He's a handyman, construction contractor. Been very, very helpful and very, very passionate. So.
Does anybody know if Martha had her baby?
Guessing she did.
It was January, we think, was the due date, but
Oh, was it?
we haven't.
She
Confirmed.
was November last time.
Yeah.
I'm just looking at getting an understanding of my mind and heart on your fundraising here, and it looks like first year was close to 6,000, and then the next year way up to 9,000,
Mm-hmm.
and then again close to 9,000, just
Mhm.
under.
Mm-hmm.
Good job. Okay.
Yeah, I mean, you know, it's.
And currently, when you look at the bottom, the assets, that's just what's in the bank, I guess.
Right.
You got around 10 grand.
That's what we got.
All right. And then
So-
in the middle, on your expenses, does all this go to the park then? Is that how it works, the park district stuff? or-
No, it does not.
Okay.
I mean, we allocate money for certain events, programs, and or, you know, there was one situation last year where it was a Boy Scout project and the foundation, like the new picnic tables. So they raised money and then the foundation actually bought the picnic tables that are currently out there by the garden. So that was like the park improvements category. So it's generally been, you know, cultural events, park improvements, and or scholarship fund, donation to Ridgeville scholarship.
And if any constituent, I guess it could be anyone in Evanston, or is it just Ridgeville constituents, if they have some ideas or a project like that, would they write a letter to the board or email you?
Yes, that would be great.
An idea.
Foundation@ridgeville.org, yes. Yes.
Thank you.
So the cultural events would be Shakespeare, basically?
I mean, that's been the big expense. We've done a couple concerts as well. But the festival has been the big expense so
Does the
far.
foundation have a brochure?
It does.
Okay.
It needs to be updated with current board members, but yes, it does have a brochure. But yeah, that's pretty good.
It might be amounts that, let's say, if some donor wanted to give an extraordinary amount,
Yeah, like 100,000.
they could do that.
They could do that.
Okay.
Tax-free.
We are a registered 501c3 nonprofit, so it is tax deductible to the full extent of the law.
So all the paperwork's in place, it's tax deductible, and depending on the size of the donors, it gives the district valuable means for getting around that thorny issue of having to issue bonds,
Right.
referenda.
Yeah. Were there any more questions or? Great.
That's great. Thank you. Thank you, Mike. Monthly reports.
I want to go first. Okay, we were scheduled to start the kitchen on Tuesday the 7th. We actually started on Wednesday the 8th. It's not Mofilio, it's Monfilio, M-O-N. So I apologize for that. I just got his name spelled correctly. We met at 9 a.m. and we mapped out the schedule. Currently, you can't get in there because of dust, and I'm trying to minimize it into this room. But the subfloor had 5 layers, it's gone. Monfilio feels the reason the floor buckled wasn't because of heat, it was because of water.
From the radiators? From the sink?
Yeah, dripped underneath and flowed all the way under. At any rate, we had to tear up all 5 layers, so that's done. We'll put in a subflooring, and cabinets are scheduled to be delivered the 16th of January. Winter camp was a success. We averaged 12 children a day. Some days we had 17, some days we had 8, stuff like that. It was a strange schedule with Christmas and New Year's being on a Wednesday. Broke up the week. The maintenance crew, if you don't mind, I'd like to buy them lunch next week. They've been working their fannies off with snow and ice and salting and all sorts of stuff. The ice rink had a minor setback on the 27th through the 29th when it got so warm. We lost our base and had to start all over again, but it's up and running. The next several months here at Ridgeville, we'll be very busy with several projects, including capital improvement, as we work on upcoming program offerings. Staff will be focused on summer camp registrations, kitchen renovation, winter classes, finishing Reba Park Community Development Grant, repairing and painting Cayman West and Ridgeville basketball courts, hiring summer staff, preparing for spring and summer programs. And believe it or not, we have to start the budget process pretty soon. Not you, me. You'll get it in May.
So first draft in May?
Yeah, you'll get the tentative budget in May.
So how's the skating? How's the skating?
I don't think there really has been any yet. The ice really isn't very good.
Is it doing out?
Yeah, I mean, I didn't put any skates on, but I walked on it. It's bumpy.
Yeah, well, here's my suggestion for next year as a capital improvement project, is to buy the rinks the city has at Ackerman, and it's something to think about, at Baker. It's tarped.
Yeah, I've seen it. It's the park over here,
Baker.
just off the lake, yeah.
Yeah. At any rate, you flood once or twice, the water never leaves. It can melt, it can evaporate, but it doesn't run into the ground. So at any rate, we'll keep working on it. I mean, I used to skate that rink when I was a kid, and it was bumpy, but you gotta do what you gotta do.
I think, you get the base down, and then it got some snow, and then you put the water on it, so it's sort of,
Half bumpy.
it's sort of bumpy with the snow.
Snow with wet water on it.
Yeah. But if people used it a little bit, that would kind of
Right.
smooth it out a little.
What's the temperature in the field house there this time of year?
Temperature in the field house?
Yeah.
Should be set at 70 degrees, but when it got cold, we raised it and dripped the water.
Trip the alarm?
Drip the water, so the water didn't freeze.
We ran the water. I
Do that here, do you have to do that here?
No, we don't do it here. No, I have to do it at my house. But, yeah, in the sinks, we've had water freeze at Coyne. It's a wood, I don't know what you call it, clapboard. It's not very well built in terms of being insulated. We looked into insulating it, but no, we ran the water those 2 nights and turned the heat up.
Brian, a question for all of us just to think about is, one of my hopes this calendar year is to get people excited about donating to help, partner with us on some of these projects. Is there a way we could, maybe on the website or somewhere, list sort of what you just did? Here's some idea, here's what we're gonna be working on. I don't know, give sort of a cheerleading, update once in a while, once a month or something on the webpage. Because I'd like to point people to some of these things. I mean, those are cool things you just mentioned, you listed off.
Somebody could donate to the foundation, earmarking it for whatever.
So what are we paying to heat the field house?
What's that?
Were we paying to heat the field house?
Well, we didn't get the bill.
I think ours just came today.
Yeah.
Yes, Brian.
We got a boatload of mail today, and it did come today. ComEd and NICOR came today. Field house will be expensive.
One of those projects, in addition to having a stable bed that gives even skating, may involve insulating the field house, and when people are cold, we can keep them warm without spending too much. And of course, there's always the outside opportunity for hot chocolate.
We looked at insulating the field house years ago. We actually had it as a capital improvement. You can't, no, you can't.
Why?
You have to, well, it's the way the ceiling is, you'd have to rip everything out. You can't spray, and it has some form of insulation in it.
Yeah, you'd have to, that's true. You'd probably have to build it more.
Right.
So, we should consider doing that.
That's it, it will be expensive. Okay. So I'd say,
Thank you for that.
Are we staffing the field house at all?
or start tomorrow.
Start tomorrow? From
Tomorrow, 4 to 8,
4 to 8?
and then the weekend, like noon to 8, noon to 8.
Plus, the state's small.
Maybe any sign or anything that would say open, or?
Yeah, we do it.
Put something there, I mean, when the light's on, people kind of know when people are out there, but just to get some bodies up to it. So 4 to 8,
Mhm.
and on the weekend, that's Friday,
Noon to 8, noon to 8.
12 to 8.
Again, on our website, if there's an option,
Yeah, we can get the skating
just
outside.
for every park this year, just a kind of a little note on when it's staffed, at the park, so kind of the public knows, oh, okay, there's a human being there this day, that hour. It gives people an idea of how to plan, I guess, for how to use the parks with a staff person there, if that's possible.
Smart.
Okay. Jerry?
I think pretty short and brief. We've got the standard reports. Now that we're through the closing out of the year end, opening up the new year, and getting through the audit and the ordinances and everything, we're kind of in a normal month.
Congratulations.
And I've been through a whole year now, so I kind of know the whole process and everything.
Is this a year?
Well, it's not my official anniversary with the Park District, but it was this time last year that I started sitting at Dean's elbow, learning how to do it. Well, kind of, it was about this time I was looking at it saying, am I gonna want to take this on? And it's been an interesting year. But the appropriations are running a tad ahead of the budget. That could just be kind of still the timing of we just had a lot of expected, kind of when year-end fell in relation to the summer programs. So we may have an extra, we have a kind of a shift in one pay period, because most of it's wages. So we kind of have a shift in one pay period there. We had 3 pay periods in the month of December. So that could be skewing a little bit too. So I'm not overly concerned at this point, but it's something to just monitor over time. On the general ledger itself, we're kind of at the time of year where our balances are on the low side because we're in between collection periods on the property taxes. So we don't have a lot coming in, but we still got the same amount going out.
Those bills come out, what, in February sometime?
Yeah. So we'll have some more money.
When's the property tax bill come out, February?
I think in February.
I think it's February with a March 1
Right, March
due
1,
date.
yeah.
It's due March 1.
Right. And it's 55% of the prior year's actual tax, so it kind of front loads the total year's bill into the first payment a little bit. So we should be just fine. Everything's tracking pretty close to the budget. No alarm bells.
Regarding the percentage being a little high, remember we got hit with that July, remember that extra payroll fell in July?
Yeah, I think, and that's about what we're off is by about.
We benefited last year at the year-ending budget, but that last payroll fell into July, so we got stuck with a whole other payroll this year instead of last year.
So we look good on last year's budget, but it might stretch us a bit on this year's budget.
And to make sure I'm reading that right, the percentages are of the fiscal year, what was budgeted, so that much has been spent.
Based on where we're at in the year, a rough way to guess where we would be is about 46%, and then the percentages is our actual usage of the budget so far.
I see. Okay.
So kind of measure the percentage against that 46% target for the month.
Okay. Thank you.
Which is, yeah, it's not an exact science because of timing issues. The payroll, we've got a full month's payroll in there, but because we approve the bills mid-month, we don't have a full months of the bills in.
Insurance.
Yeah.
So to use that, if we start seeing 200%, we'll know we need to have a different budget line item next year, because that didn't work.
I mean, it wouldn't even merit a comment if we were running under, but it's just because we're running a little ahead. We've been running a little ahead for a couple of months. It's just, let's watch it, see how we do it. I don't see any reason why we shouldn't settle out the year fine. What we'll spend some time on in the next, between now and the next meeting, or it may take us 2 meetings to get done, is as we've been focused on just all year-end audit type stuff, we haven't put a lot of time and energy in my staying on top of, in the office as far as outstandings on the accounts. So we've got a buildup of a bunch of credit card issues that have been building since last May. We've got about a dozen transactions that are problematic, and we've got a buildup of unresolved. How we handle the farmer's market is I guess we collect money from the people, it includes a delivery fee, and then we pay out to the farms, and we use a revenue account as kind of an accounts payable account. The theory is it should wash out, and what's left over is the delivery fee. It's not washing out, and we've built up a negative income in that account of several $1,000s. We ended the year with that problem. The auditors didn't comment on it, but what they did was net the loss in the revenue account against the general revenue balance, and didn't make a fuss about it, but it forced us to alter our process a little bit from how we've done it in past years because of it. So we'll spend some time trying to figure out why. I have a suspicion why it's not washing out, but we'll have to have some discussions to figure out a better process for how we're handling
If we figure that out now, then.
it's a combination of the link cards and the credit cards that are causing us problems, I think.
So what's the problem with the transactions on the credit cards? Just
Well, we get charges to our bank account that aren't matching what we're saying. For example, we approved at the board in the bills a number, but what actually gets charged to our checking account is a different amount. So we're going to figure out what's that all about. It's not off huge amounts, but it's enough that we have to leave the transaction open and unresolved until we figure out where are these differences and why are they constantly there. I mean, they range They range from 15 cents to $950. Well, there's an offset to that $950, it's $886, so let's look at the little $50, $60 difference in the middle.
Should your educated guess be that it's a bookkeeping issue, we gotta figure out how to?
I couldn't guess because I don't know what the process is
Okay.
supposed to be on it. Hopefully between Anna and probably Mike, we'll be
Yeah,
able to
I
figure
know.
that one out. But
First time.
something's not flowing that we're getting those to clear off the bank statements, so we'll figure it out. But, and we've known it's there, it's just we've deliberately said, we're busy with other things, we'll get with it. It's not out of control, it's just a niggling little problem we gotta deal with.
Okay, sounds good. Thank you very much. Mike?
Oh, report, yeah. Okay, well, classes start next week. We've already had a burst of summer camp registration. You know, people who register late, who wait until later on, are gonna find themselves on a waiting list. Some camps may fill up at the end of the month or February, maybe even March.
We have a bet.
What are you trying to tell me here, Mike?
Oh, I wasn't directed at you.
Mike's trying to get a free lunch. Miss B's camp's 40% filled already.
The bet is on when they'll close, when you'll have enough.
I got February 8th.
Brian talked about winter camp, so I will briefly talk about, this is the annual summary sheet you should have all got. It was just put on your packets with the foundation report. It's the back side of this.
Oh, shit.
Okay, the backside of that, gotcha.
The list of companies.
You got one last one.
Yeah, I mean, I know Brian mentioned just the kind of stuff on the front side, which was just the community organizations that we had partnered, collaborated, and or assisted. Some of the back side, just people who had been supportive, done some corporate sponsorship for the festival or the fundraiser for the foundation. Just wanted to kind of put those out there. I wanted to also just mention that 2013 was a big year. There were 3 new programs started in 2013, Garden to Table, the Youth Summer Basketball, and the Peanut Flag Football League, all of which are slotted to continue in 2014. There were some new classes, Youth in the Parks was expanded, the fitness coaching, personal training is booming and providing us with a lot of extra program revenue. And then, we tried to kind of put some just, our best estimates on attendance at some of the community events. So, events like Bike the Ridge, it's really hard to track how many people, but
Thousands.
no, it's in the thousands. But certainly events like the Shakespeare is easy because I count the people in the audience every night, so that's easy. And then just to finally, just a FYI, online registration on the website is increasing rapidly. We're now up to about 80% of program revenue coming online. That's great. Just for general edification. So, given that stamps are now going up to 49 cents, less invoices sent out, just for, yeah.
Dan, who do you have on the consortium at Presence Health?
I'm sorry?
Who do you have on the consortium at Presence Health, St. Francis?
Oh, from St. Francis, Dr. Greenberg?
The
Okay.
question was, who is on St. Francis President's Consortium member?
Maybe helpful at some point this year to talk to Dr. Greenberg about the exercise, I mean, the fitness programs,
St.
cultural
Francis is
opportunities,
very
garden table, for their involvement with the foundation next year.
And what's her name? I'm blanking on it now, but she's at St. Francis, and she has said she'd be potentially interested in doing something for the farmers market. I'm assuming, if you recall, last summer we had Country Financial kind of pony up almost $1,000 to pay for our postcards and our post banner. I'm gonna guess they're probably not gonna do that again this year. So it would be nice if St. Francis kicked in.
They're being so close, and hospitals are trying to push.
Linda O'Dwyer,
better
that's it.
nutrition, local nutrition, better nutrition, so.
Were they dissatisfied, or did this country get the business that they were looking for, or they didn't get the business?
She didn't get that much business, no.
She was pretty.
I mean, she wasn't upset. Like there weren't.
Tried.
It wasn't. Yeah, she wasn't. This is just my opinion. She wasn't that. She didn't do some of the things that would have helped her. Like even things like having a tent and better signage, and kind of, being more. She would wander away from her booth a lot, which I mean, again, these are just general my observations. But in terms of getting people to come visit you, you need more of an incentive for people to come visit your tent, and
I actually tried to call her, and I couldn't reach her.
Oh, really?
Oh, no,
I mean, that kind of stuff is.
not good business.
When you're in the insurance business, you got to be a little bit more accessible than that, because people are not eager generally to hear that kind of pitch. So.
I very much appreciate you plugging in some of the best guests,
Yeah.
It's just another way to, a data point maybe to measure next year and see
Right,
how things are going. But also, it can help, all of us to think about where we might want to focus our PR or our reaching out to our community to get them involved more with our parks. So possibly getting more people on our website, email community, maybe get out information about who we are and our email addresses, get different constituents' opinions on, parks, what they would like.
So for example, I have an email signature that has some explanation of what www.ridgeville.org stands for.
Well, there's certainly room to grow. I mean, with maybe the exception of Bike the Ridge. I don't know how much more big, how much larger that can get, but the summer concerts, certainly. The farmers market, as long as it stays a midweek Wednesday market, it's always going to be a challenge.
Oh, yeah, what I meant, I guess, is, what I would like to see is us finding ways that we could brag about what we're doing
Right.
and invite people to join us.
Yeah,
So those few thousand people there, for instance, at the Bike the Ridge,
Right.
I'd like to see 4,000 little cards go out or something, like, this is who we are, sign up to our webpage.
Well, we have a booth at
Okay.
Bike the Ridge, and we were getting email sign-ups, and we were giving away Ridgeville promotional stuff. That's a big event for us,
Yeah.
because you can't get that kind of foot traffic
Right.
anywhere. Even at Custer Fair, there's not that kind of foot
Right.
traffic, really. I mean, maybe, but yeah, it's incredible. Bike the Ridge is incredible.
And part of that too, I'd like to see more invitations for ideas from
Mhm.
people. So it could be a simple, handout or something, where we could get volunteers to hand out to people, or even sign them up right there. Would you like to be on our email list? While they're there, they might do it,
Oh, yeah. Oh, that's the condition for getting a hat.
Okay.
Or a shirt. No, that's what we've done. Because people will give you their email if they get like a tote bag,
Okay.
something. And then flag football. Should we talk briefly? That was my last thing. You guys got the survey. We don't have to go through it all, but I guess I would just draw your attention to, I think two of the big questions were, overall, how would you rate the program? And, you know, we were good and excellent was, you know, almost 90%. And the quality of the coaches, instructors, again, when you combine the excellent and the good, you know, you're very, very high. So,
It looks like they didn't, the respondents didn't realize all the benefits of volunteering as a coach.
they did not. They had no interest in volunteering as coaches.
Zero.
I mean, data speaks for itself there, but you know that can change. You know,
I don't
next
want
year.
to run my ass off, I want the kids to run their ass off, what do you mean?
I was surprised at the goose egg on that one, but yeah. Any questions about that or flag football?
I didn't fill out the
Survey. Well, you've given your feedback.
I kind of missed on that, but you could probably add me down in that good category.
Okay.
I think went very well. There were a couple parents out there that I know of that actually coach other sports. So I know maybe 2 or 3 of those parents were of the mind that, hey, you know what, I get my coaching in. I do a lot of coaching too.
They've got their coaching.
I do a lot of coaching too. Sometimes you just want to put your kid in something and kind of enjoy it. So
Right.
I would say about maybe a third of those parents were just like, you know, I can do it, but I'd rather not. So you got some of that
Right.
too. So I just want to make mention of that. That's all.
Yeah. Yeah.
On the Park District annual summary, what is how do we thank people for doing this? Do we send them a thank you?
For doing what exactly?
Oh, for partnering with us and donating and...
Well, for the donations, yeah. I mean, you know, like for the fundraiser and all the businesses got thank you letters in the mail.
One idea for this next year, just throw it out, is see if there might be a way for board members to sign off on a thank you that, you know, so they know that we, all of us are thanking them. Just an idea. If there's a standard letter that goes out.
There is a standard letter that goes out. Now on the foundation's very own stationery. I mean, specifically for, you know, the fundraiser, Rita and I sent letters for those businesses. But then for some of the other stuff, you know, I mean, I don't know, Brian, we could probably, you know, some of the St. Nick stuff, most of the St. Nick stuff is them writing us thank you letters, actually. Like, I mean, like the front page stuff is stuff where we have, you know, I mean, the Ridgeville Band, there you go. They just wrote us
Should have copied it, it was a beautiful letter.
was it really a very beautiful letter.
I just somehow, if the board's open to it, I'd like to see more. I'd like to be involved more, I think.
Let's see it.
Yeah,
Somehow.
yeah. Well, people never get tired of being thanked, I'll tell you that. What's that?
Candlelights get great pizza.
Yeah, they do.
Did you run that dinner? Who was that dinner from the fundraiser as well?
No, I'll sign them.
Who got the candlelight?
Dave Mensch won it 2
Yeah.
years ago.
I'll sign it.
I don't remember who got it this year.
Go through them, I'll see if I see it.
Oh, no, wait, that's right, a friend of mine, Jay Craig.
Who is it?
That's fine, it's Queen Charles, a friend of mine, Jay Craig. God, this year. I think they have.
I'm all set.
We're good?
Yeah.
Thank you, Mike. Dan, anything?
Well, I was just hoping to hear an update maybe from Rob and Ann about the hiring policy that we're looking at.
It's on the agenda as well, right?
That's the last thing.
That is
That's the last one.
Okay, approval of the annual board meeting calendar. Everybody had a chance to look at that? Anybody have any conflicts or comments on it? So, entertain a motion to approve the
If I may add a little more things to consider. That's good so far.
Motion?
Motion to approve the calendar for 2014.
I move to approve the 2014 annual board meeting calendar.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Motion approved. Okay. So Rob, you and Ann were appointed agreed last month to
Sure.
study the hiring policy, look at some other cities, park districts.
We did. We looked at some local stuff here, Skokie as well as Evanston. And of course, just keep in mind, we're not the same size, we're not the same amount of employees, so a lot of that stuff doesn't really pertain to us. But what I do want to hand out, everyone should have Ann's copy. We just, we didn't reinvent the wheel. She came up with Ridgeville Park District hiring policy, and I'll just go ahead and read that out loud really quickly to just give us a feel. This is what we were working off of, and what I did was I took it and kind of broke it down a little bit and broke it into statements. So I'm going to hand that around too for everybody to take a look at. And this is just more for a discussion right now. I mean, we're not making a recommendation. We had 60 days to kind of do this, but at least we got. What's that? Yeah, some homework so far.
In fact, I think, this is, in my opinion, just kind of, as you said, a discussion, because Ann should really be here too.
Absolutely, right, and unfortunately, was it? Everybody got one?
Is there a next one?
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Thanks.
So I'll start off with the ends. Relatives of administrative staff or board are not eligible for Park District employment on a full-time basis. All right, that's the full-time. Relatives of supervisory staff are not allowed to have a direct reporting relationship. For purposes of interpreting the Park District's nepotism policy, the term relatives will be defined as spouse, life partner, parent, step-parent, sibling, child, stepchild, in-law, aunt, uncle, niece, nephew, grandparent, grandchild, and members of household. This policy. And then, I don't know if this was added, because this policy shall not apply to the hiring of children of the administrative staff or board for short-term positions. So I'll stop there. Park vacancies. So anyway, so that's just one statement. What I have, if you look at mine, I have the same statement, and I just wrote a couple things down that I was thinking about. Number one, that first statement there really doesn't apply to us because we do not have any hired, we don't have any relatives that are hired in those full-time positions, so we don't have any issues there. So I think the main issue of the policy of whether or not we would adopt this for short-term positions. If it were me, something that's swirling around in my head is not to cut off folks from being hired who are relatives. I'd like to see a policy in place, or I'd like to see us think about a policy in place that will require actual process. 3 qualified applicants from the community. We've got 30,000 constituents. I think about that a lot. I'm looking for ways to engage the community. Public posting of job opportunities to the community. And if I was going to put a third thing there, would be having the board finally approve that person. Just to make sure we're all above board and we're coming at it going, hey, we got some qualified applicants here. Yes, there's some, for example, if I was going to use one of our board members, let's say your kid was working here, because, I would like, if my kid was in a situation where they actually came up through this park district as came up through the park district and was a participant, and moved up to a counselor in training, the CIT, and then moved up to, after college or whatever, or high school, became a full counselor and was working. I don't see that being problematic if that person was qualified. So I have a hard time there. I'm kind of, it's hard for me because I go, this is a person in the community. And, we have a person on the board here who has a child that has worked here, who's upstanding, who is a member of the community, and so on. So just something to think about there. So again, I'm not trying to convince you there, but if we adopt the policy as it currently stands,
Which is,
hiring children of administrative staff for short-term positions, if we adopt this, we would still have 10% of the payroll going to relatives. Because what we're talking about are short-term positions. We're talking about those seasonal positions. We're not talking about full-term positions. Full-time positions. So I just wanted to make that clear.
So when you say the 10%, that number, where does that come from?
The research I've done the last couple of years in fiscal year 10, 11, and 11, 12, approximately 71 employees that is on the payroll from the annual report, along with their salaries. And if you add up those,
And did you add the salaries or just the people?
both,
Okay, my numbers were way off, way different. I had 3%.
well, 9 are related to Brian and our elected board members. 9 out of 71 is 13%.
Well, if somebody makes $47, does that really count?
The amount of money was
So the amount of
well
money
over
is
$1,000 after I got the
Yeah,
data.
well, I have the exact data too. I mean, I went through it, I looked at it.
Okay, let me take a look at it here. Let me summarize it real quick.
Yeah, I think, well,
Could I?
So,
go ahead.
For discussion.
and I want to finish just saying what I'm saying, and then we can put it on the table and talk
I
about it.
just don't like to hear the 10% when that's 10% of people and it's not, you ought to do the budget, the amount of money spent. Okay, okay, so.
Okay, that's fair, that's fair.
Okay.
But we'll give them a chance to, just give me a second, or we can give them a chance to substantiate that, because I just wrote that because that's what was,
That's what you heard.
that's what I heard, that's why I wrote
That's
that.
what was in the email and that's what.
Absolutely.
kind of put out.
So, and I put an or here, again, we should or can adopt a cleaner nepotism policy that included both part-time and full-time employees or positions. In other words, elected folks and admin cannot have family on payroll, period. So that's another way to go. And then that statement 3, all this is a part of the same hiring policy that Ann actually, we both agreed to let's just take this one and see what we can do with it. All right, if you look at the second page, this was sent to us, it was actually sent to me earlier today, a second time. Dan forwarded it, I think he got it from Michael Drake. So this came from Jason Anselman. He is the corporate counsel down in Springfield.
got the email open right in front of me.
Okay, great. And that's sample number 1. He also sent this to me a couple weeks ago, and I'm glad that somebody else did a little due diligence there and checked it out, because I did not have sample number 2. So it's just a couple samples that we were looking at, and I just wanted the board to see these. With that said,
Rob, just want to take this is our current hiring policy?
that's a policy that we both agree to. That is not our
Okay.
current hiring
So
policy.
this is your consensus. Okay, so this is what you're suggesting?
No.
For lack- No, okay.
No, this is what Ann and I agreed to work off of, and then when it was sent to me, I kind of broke it down as to what I thought. We have not come up with a consensus yet, so we have not had a second meeting. Our first meeting consisted of being upstairs and just looking through policies and just wording. So we didn't come up with this on our own. These were all taken off of, it's pretty much plagiarized, just, just taking somebody else's wording. That's
So
all.
was there any overall policy like Skokie or Evanston or that you were comfortable with that is sort of all encapsulating so that if we said,
There really wasn't.
There wasn't.
I think we're in a unique situation, Pat, in that our size and our scope and just what we do is just, it's just different. It's just so different that I think we really have to kind of work hard to see what fits for us, you know? And I struggle with that.
One of the things I'm struck by, it's not really my role or place, but the minimum of 3 applicants, the thing I think I considered there, have there been positions at the Park District that have been open in the past in which you haven't even had 3 applicants? And if that's true, you know, what would the policy say about those situations?
If no one applies.
Well, you may, or you maybe only have 1 qualified candidate apply, or only 2, but you didn't have 3. I just know from my days working with Dean at the bank, there were certain types of positions in certain situations where that was the problem, was finding that one good person once in a while for a unique position. So, you know, take the example of the treasurer position. It's not like you had, you know, when Dean made the announcement he's going to retire, that you had a bunch of people raising their hands, I want it. He scratched his head and like, who would be a fit, and went and banged on my door. Not that I'm saying it's like, oh, gee, an impossible position, but you know, the Park District is a great big.
Who wants to flood the rink on January 4th?
Well, or once in a while, I think, you know, with the summer programs and whatnot, if you have like just short-term need through quick positions, and then the policy prevents you, as it's written, from filling those. Food for thought, that's all.
Thank you.
So, are you gonna get together with Ann again?
Yes.
Okay,
Yes.
so we should take a look at this basically between.
I mean, if anybody got any feedback, I think, you know, you can maybe, you know, send us something or go, hey, Rob, I've come up with this, or something that would work for us. Because I personally, I mean, aside from everything, I'd like to see something in place that just has a process. I think we're lacking process, and just having a policy in place, whether it says this or that, we're gonna have to make a decision, but having that little piece, I think, will, you know, I think will satisfy a lot of needs around the table. So that's, I think we can get there.
So the insights I'm drawing both from the IAPD and what we've done with it notably is that the 2 samples don't really conflict, and in some cases don't really necessarily contrast, in the sense that under sample 2, nepotism prohibited, it states no member of commissioner's immediate family shall be eligible to become a paid employee of the district. Whereas in sample 1, second sentence, immediate family may not be hired if employment creates a supervisor-subordinate relationship. So there are 2 classes that are compatible, one being more general and absolute, notably sample 2, than the other. We should also note the difference between paid employees as opposed to part-time staff. Paid employees is a matter of salary, it's a matter of benefits, it's a matter of unemployment. It's carried differently on the books than part-time staff. And that's something I face in business. I've got 42 1099s out in the field. They live on our books differently than the paid employees of our company. And for that reason, management really doesn't pay a lot of attention to it. They say, okay. Because, I hate to admit it, business is a little bit down, and when their business is down, their commissions are down. When commissions are down, we're not paying them as much. So, when we look at full-time employment, however, it's a serious question, because if that person doesn't pan out, we're looking at 18 months of supporting them on unemployment. That's neither here nor there in terms of a judgment call. It's really just a question of how we manage it for the district. So in the case of and they don't mince words, they refer to it as nepotism. In the case of an anti-nepotism policy, ensuring we don't hire full-time staff as employees, especially given our track record so far, seems perfectly reasonable. And then both the first sample, as well as what you've put forward in your samples, begin the outline of a process for hiring. And your bullet points here, 3 qualified applicants, public posting of job opportunities, even board final approval are all means for rendering the process transparent and accountable. So I think you guys have made some good progress. And it's that process, I would agree, that's really going to make the key here. Because size-wise, we're just not that big. There are park districts out there with budgets in the tens of millions of dollars, where a full-time employee, being the cousin or the brother, or for that matter, the lover of of a supervisor, could go unnoticed for years. It's not gonna happen, too small.
So Mike, if I can add to that, you know, I just want to bring it back to the community, and that's making sure that the community is aware, even those part-time positions, they may look a certain way on the books, but, you know, I can't say in the past that, Brian, I even cared about who you hired, or just as a constituent, you know, when I lived on Monroe and Elmwood, and I was in the park, you know, volunteering. I wasn't, you know, thinking about that. But it would have been nice to know that there's a policy or a process in place for, you know, soliciting. What we talked to, soliciting the churches or the civic organizations out there for qualified candidates. We have 30,000 constituents. You know, and that number is, you know, it's a pretty large number, and we just put a cap on it at 30,000 or whatever. But you know, of that youth, you know, maybe 6,000 youths are out there that could possibly, whether that be Ann's church or my church or St. Nick's, or I mean, we got enough folks around the table to make sure that we get the word out to those places. And if we get nothing back, we've done our due diligence.
We do, and that's really the key, is ensuring that we clearly demonstrate. Ann had some language I found right, and I really appreciate her work on this, but I think the second paragraph of her suggested language, the park district will attempt to post position vacancies on website, job sites, local job centers, local institutions. That doesn't fly. The park district will post positions on the website, job sites. It's not so much a matter of attempt. I mean, that doesn't take long. So yes, I couldn't agree more. And that needs to be, the public needs to be aware.
Two thoughts. First, to your point about how full-time employees and part-timers are carried differently on the books. And there aren't 1099 employees of the park district.
That's true.
You know, they're all.
Those are the same contracts, is
But
that correct?
there is a difference between the part-timers and the full-timers in terms of who we have to pay money for to the IMRF, in terms of what we offer in voluntary retirement benefits, in terms of unemployment compensation, in terms of workers' comp, are billed from there. So there are definite distinctions between the full-timers and the part-timers that way, even though there aren't any 1099 people per se. The attempt phrasing, I first reacted against, but then got thinking, well, but are there not situations where we need coaches on a weekend or something, and you know, we need people on kind of a quick, short-term basis that you don't have the time to post and find somebody for it. You need to put them on the payroll quick enough to work for you. And with the policy too strict, take away some of the flexibility that the park district uses today.
Good point. It deserves a little exploration. I have a feeling it can be done on a very short turnaround time, but that deserves consideration. Very good point.
Could we be obligated to pay unemployment to part-time employees?
I don't know enough to answer that.
Okay.
You do, you are.
Well, I thought that, but I just was kind of listening to what you were
Somebody
saying.
works, I think, 30-plus days.
Okay. So if they work 30 days,
They
I
qualify.
don't need them anymore.
8 hours
Don't
and 8
quote me
hours.
on that, but I think that's.
Now, Brian, there's some people, just going back to your question or your statement of getting somebody who's already in the pipeline to do something that pops up real quick. I'm fine with picking from, you know, we trust you to do that. We know that you got, you know, a set amount of folks that you can call on who are honest. I mean, that's what we rely on you for.
So winter camp, we just did.
Right.
Now, just on a very light note, I remember how you got hired. Do you remember? I believe we may have spoken, but Wes walked in the door and said, I need somebody at Reba. I got this guy named Rob Beatty. He's great. He's there every day. So that's exactly how it went.
If I could clarify the facts on my research on the public information about those that are on the payroll, okay, the last couple of years. Brian, full-time, the only one. You know, you add those two up, it's $143,000. That's not benefits, that's salary. John, I think is your son, $15,000. Lois, your wife, $8,000. I believe Mensch is the son of a previous commissioner, that was $5,000. I don't know, I can't read my own writing, is it Kevin or Karen or Caitlin, niece and nephew? $3,500, another $3,500.
Are these salary costs?
These are payroll costs, that's what we paid them.
And you're taking it over 3 years, basically?
No, 2.
Now you must have taken it over 3.
No, 2 years.
Those two are actually, could be 3 years. Could be 2010, 11, it's 10, 11.
I can send it to you, it's public information.
Why don't you, I
I
tell you
want to,
what,
Patrick, you give me a chance to answer, because you challenged me and I'm giving you an answer. Thank you.
Michael, you.
Rita, $2,500, wife. Emma, that's the lowest one, that's the
No,
daughter.
maybe 6 or 7.
Were you asking to sign this?
Hey, Mike,
Yes.
I'm sorry, I didn't mean to interrupt.
Go ahead, sorry.
Patrick, I'll repeat, so you may have missed it. The nephew and niece, that's $3,500 each. Is it here? I don't know, what's your nephew's name? Who? Kevin or? Kevin, and then Kaylee, your niece. Rita, wonderful person, and all these people are wonderful people, $2,500. Emma, daughter of our commissioner, $2,000. And then I believe it's Edward, maybe your son, $1,700. My concern is simply this, it's not chump change, it's a small budget. I have no question about the integrity, the honesty, and the qualified credentials of all these people. They're wonderful. That's not the issue here. I understand. It's a philosophical position I'm taking, which I think every constituent that has told me their opinion has supported the idea of no nepotism. I don't know of any constituents, except for a couple in the room here, who've supported it. And I don't know how we can move forward in supporting it without community support of this.
First, we have from the Illinois Association of Park Districts clear examples where family members have been hired by park districts. This has happened elsewhere. Thus, not simply do we have administrative staff among the association,
Numbers and writing the way I've done mine, so we can compare them.
however, we also have constituencies.
Sorry, I missed what Patrick said. Patrick, interrupt. I'm sorry. What was that, Patrick?
These are my numbers where I came up with the 3%. So if you could just compare.
I'll resend the email I sent you, the attachments. It's in our books.
Okay.
I'll just send it to you again. Thanks.
So we have constituencies in other parts of the state and administrative staff on park districts of greater size with larger and more complicated budgets that have faced the same issue and come to markedly different conclusions than yours. Thus, it is possible to consider a hiring policy that both includes family members and avoids nepotism. When you consider the very term, it's a demonstration of favoritism. We do not have a clear demonstration of intent to favor family members that I've seen anyhow on the part of this district. I've seen instances where it was necessary to hire someone and had someone volunteer. We have had other instances, notably Lois, who is more than qualified for the position. And all of these have occurred with a complete lack of stated process. on what's acceptable and unacceptable hiring policies. Thus, while I appreciate perhaps your intent to serve your constituency, we have to be honest, you're serving your constituency. This isn't philosophical. If it were philosophical, you would have a very clear line of approach and an argument with clear definitions, as well as a clear violation of process. There's been no process. How are we to violate something if it isn't there? We need to adopt it first so we can violate it, or, for that matter, uphold it. And you guys have done some good work in that regard.
Well, granted, I appreciate that, and I'm very strong in my support of having written policy and procedures and updating since 1990 our current personnel
I
policies.
agree.
But the truth is, the reputation that we have in our community is that we're running a private country club because we're hiring family members, and I think it has to stop, whether it's in writing or not.
I appreciate your point of view.
You know, you have an opinion, and that's terrific.
Yeah.
I don't think your opinion represents a majority of the opinion in the Park District of Ridgeville.
I don't know that, we haven't voted on it.
Well, I'm not just speaking the five of us, I'm talking about, you make it sound like all the constituents that you talk to or agree with you, and I don't think that's an accurate statement. Maybe that you talked to 10 people, 20 people, and the way you phrased it,
people
the
that
way-
support this.
the way you phrased it is such that they agree with that. I think if you know, you talk to a lot of other people, they say if you're hiring quality people, they're you know, doing their job, and they're representing Ridgeville, they're doing, that's a good thing. Fixing the process, so everybody's comfortable with it, I think is an important process. We're going through that right now. I think we should finish this up when we have Ann here, since both of them were on the committee to talk about this.
Can I have one question, Ann? This year, other than Rita, are there any family members that are working for us, or that are?
No.
Okay.
No.
Thank you.
And if it, I'll just tell you this, there's gonna be none unless possibly Lois, that's it. That's it, possible. That's completely up to you, not me. There's, you know, everybody's coaching and teaching and doing all sorts of stuff, so no, zero.
And on a positive note, what I read in Ann's and Rob's efforts is something I very much support, and that what I heard, what I understand is, whatever policy we end up with, we're going to try to broaden how we advertise these advertisements so that you get, you know, more applicants. So I appreciate it.
Okay.
Hey, before we go, are we getting ready to go?
Does anybody else have any comments on this?
Okay, I came across something, and it's got nothing to do with hiring policies, so. But I'd like to give you all a copy, because it's a good read, and it's, I think Anna got it, I don't know, but it's a commissioner handbook. We got, some people got the cities way back when. This is Oak Park River Forest.
Yeah.
Park District, did you ever see it?
You know what,
It's good.
he sent it to me, but yes.
It's good. You can put it in the fireplace tonight after you read it. But it's very interesting. It's a good read.
Yeah.
And it's a park district similar to Ridgeville, other than it sounds. They're much bigger. Demographics are similar.
This is great.
Good stuff.
Thank you. This could be a starting point for us to.
Yeah, absolutely.
Pat, if we have no further business, I move to adjourn.
All in favor?
Aye.
Thank you, everybody.